All right, welcome to Awaken Relentless Love and Partnerships. There's Jesse. Great. How today is going to go is we're going to have a brief meditation and then we're going to skill up in relationship. Hey, Jesse, good to see you. Thanks for being here. We're going to talk about boundaries. We're going to talk about codependence. We're going to talk about how to become exceptional and awaken the potential for love early in the relationship. These are the exact things that people have asked me for who are in this room. So it's going to be fun. Everybody, bring your right hand to your physical heart. Feel your heart beat. Bring your eyes to a close. Take a deep breath as if into your heart. And let it go. And again. Let it go. Deepest, strongest, longest breath of the day. Breathe in. And out with a sigh. I call in God, infinite intelligence, to guide this conversation. Take me out of the way, intuition, so that what is most meant to be in service to those in here and who witness this recording may come through our interaction with grace and ease. Tuning in now to the love that never leaves, that most don't perceive, that most can't receive because they've been deceived to believe they need something from outside of them. Putting faith in the possibility that you might already be loved and that standing there, your boundaries become stronger and easier. Your relationships come about quicker and deeper. That there is, in fact, as we titled this thing, a relentless love to awaken. Breathing that in. Now, tuning into your intention for being here. What had you say yes? Bringing that to mind. What would make today valuable for you? Realizing that you're responsible for creating that, asking for it, receiving it, getting it, being a standing demand for what you need, and clarifying when and where appropriate. Breathing that in, that sovereignty and power. And letting it go. And so be it, and so it is, and so we are. Amen. Letting your hand go. All right. So either in the chat or just on the camera, who would like to skill up in relationship? Like gain more capacity, gain more ease. Yeah, that's what today is about. Have you noticed that they teach us trigonometry in schools, but not how to be in relationship? And in fact, we are programmed and domesticated by preachers, teachers, family, friends, media, and government to behave in certain ways that don't necessarily seem to lead to great relationships that last or that are fulfilling. In fact, somewhere between 60 to 70% supposedly of marriages end in divorce. And you look at relationships ending in breakup, there's like a 2 year limerence dose response curve. And at the end of that, a lot of people, especially in the so called conscious community, then break up after probably putting out a very public post on social media celebrating, like, oh, wow, new love, it's working, it's amazing. Oleg says, schools teach people to be ready for STEM and factory work. They don't teach how to function in real life. Yeah. And then thank you, Raj. I see your raised hand. That's awesome. You're in it to win it. I love this. Yeah, Raj is super committed to growth. He does badass meditation retreats like that require a lot. So you all have given me questions. I'm excited. If you have more questions, put them in the chat. This is going to be Q&A. It's going to be a flow. And I'm going to teach you some stuff first, and then I'm going to dance with the questions. Sound good? Give me a thumbs up. You still here? You present? You receiving? Okay, cool. Beautiful. Thank you. So, first question, I didn't get a specific question on this, but there's a whole workshop I could teach on boundaries from Jesse. So, Jesse, if you don't mind sharing, like a specific question about boundaries that would help me refine my answer here, either in the chat or feel free to come off a mute, whichever's easiest, most convenient. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Um, so let me see if I can form this right. Because I feel like when I have like a normal sort of situation happen, I feel prepared. I feel like I have a strategy for placing boundaries. But when something happens that's so like sort of enormous and overwhelming and like, holy smokes, did that just happen? That's where all my stuff came up and I got really, really, really triggered, which is not normal. Like normally I'm pretty tenderhearted. Um, and so I blew up. I blew up. And so I think in a situation like that, right, there's all of these things you can do. You can breathe, you can do this, you can do that. In the case that, I was discussing with you, I was being manipulated really heavily. And so like I'm trying to like process, how do I handle this? If something like this happens again, how can I handle this with grace and with ease and with coming from my heart rather than a ton of anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So how do I handle setting a boundary in a way that works, that's like actually effective, but not over pendulated from pain and anger? Am I getting it?
Yeah.
Let me ask also, what is the impact on you of not having an answer to this? Like what has been the result? Is it like, you
So
know,
it's like an open loop where like it's just kind of like swirling around up here. And so it's taking energy and focus off of things that I could much better be doing.
yeah, so it's like you know that you should or could be able to put focus and attention on something that you're more committed to, but your mind and body, maybe your nervous system is like hooked by something and pulled in a way that you're like, what can I do about this, or how do I resolve this? Yeah. And how has that felt? Is it annoying? Is it frustrating? Is it disappointing? What's the
Um, I kind of am bouncing all over the place. Like it feels like all over the place right now, where it's like, okay, there's this answer and then there's this answer, but there's never been anything really solid that's landed for me because I brought it up with a few people where I'm like, okay, I erupted at somebody. Totally not normal for me at all. Like very, very, very rare in my whole life.
Mm,
Um, but wanting to then create and be responsible for not ever doing something like that again. Obviously, I'm human, but but yeah, so like solution seeking. There's a lot of solution seeking in that, and the practice of self forgiveness and like, okay, I messed up. It's okay to mess up. I'm human. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're in the perfect spot. Because guess who also has had very similar situations and stuff go on for him, namely me. Who else, by the way, has had difficulty setting or managing, holding, handling, communicating, expressing boundaries? Yeah. We're not taught. So let's rewind back to I was mentioning the domestication, right? We're not taught to hold our full, strong, clean, clear, sovereign boundaries. We are programmed with what to do, whether by our parents, again, preachers, teachers, government. So it really takes something to stand up on your own 2 feet and say, this is what works for me, given my experience, and this does not. And this is not acceptable in my world. And we have trauma probably because boundaries are experienced before they're expressed. Like you have a body that has a limit and an emotional body that has experiences before you can even put those into words as a human, right? So probably what's going on with this boundary that has anger, and I'm going to give you a radical model, but it's worked radically well for me. We manifest our reality with our subconscious beliefs. Manifest does not mean to create, it means to make obvious what is already there. Where is that which is already there? Inside of us. So everything that's in front of me, I'm creating and I'm responsible for to some degree. And I go where I live emotionally and I use my environment to get me there. And until I make what is unconscious conscious, the outer world will rule my life, like trigger me. And I'll call it fate, or I'll call it them being an evil or a bad or a mean person or whatever. So, um, the place that I would go, because we can discern the boundary, and then the expressing it with love is the piece, right? That's your commitment. Eventually, if your boundary gets held or sharpened energetically strongly enough, it just gets exuded. And there's no need to react to someone pushing against it. There's just a that doesn't work for me, and oh, I won't tolerate you in my reality if you choose to engage in this. And for me, I would always escalate. You tell me this if this resonates. Welcome, Siraj. Good to see you. For me, I couldn't tell the distinction when I first started practicing boundaries between um, choosing to make an inviting like request versus a demand and eventually just like aggressive pushing back. And by the way, having been involved in many cults or organizations that have been claimed to be cults, like the some of them are very powerful personal development organizations that are mainstream accepted by places like NASA and whatnot. In these places, if you do not have your sovereignty or you do not know how to exercise it, you will get pushed around by groupthink, by social pressure, by social proof. Landmark. Yeah, okay. Oleg, I wasn't going to name him, but there we go. I love Landmark. It was my gateway drug to transformation, so to speak. And so, choosing to remember the point here, um, yeah, I have set boundaries with anger because anger is a useful tool for setting boundaries. Now, anger with judgment on the other person for not responding in the way that my ego might be attached to, then burns a bridge. Then like results in firebombing the bridge of the relationship. Has this been something of your experience, like in this, Jesse? Or
Yeah, the one time definitely like firebombed, like done, gone. And then
yeah,
maybe I think there was a part of me that that was the intention because this
yeah,
person was up to no good. Um, and so there's a part of me that was like, I need this person out of my life and not for them not to come back again. Um, but at the same time, like I really cared for this person. So it was like there's a lot of it was almost like I think I did it intentionally where I was like, I need this person to be out of my life. And so and I'm very angry and then
yeah. Are you willing to accept that that response may actually have been perfect for you in order to protect your nervous system? And
yeah, yeah, yes. Because since it's been like about a month and I'm healing from autoimmune stuff. And the last couple weeks, I've been more peaceful and rested and that with this person out of my life than I have in a very long time.
yeah, so may I have permission to coach you all? Give me a thumbs up if that works. Okay, cool. Because I'm going to be rigorous. I I've got nothing to lose, and I've got you know one of the things I like to say is people pleasers are liars. People pleasers are actually performing a pretense in order to pull from you whatever they think they need from you, or to maintain whatever veneer of politeness they think they need. Um, and it's really like I'd rather not put a pillow in y'all's cage because love confronts dysfunction. And that doesn't mean that love confronting dysfunction can't happen in a manner of like let's say somebody hits my boundary, right? First infraction or first experience, like, hey, are you aware you're having this impact? Do you desire to have this impact? I don't feel good when you do this. Okay, now that they're aware of their impact, because humans are blissfully unaware and oblivious and ignorant of their impact a lot. This coming from someone who grew up with autism, right? I found eventually my intention could be very different than my impact, and how people interpret, react, respond to me. I'm responsible for that too. Even though I can't control it directly, what I can control upstream of that is my expression, is the energy with which I convey and express myself. Um, so, you start by, okay, do you realize you're having this impact? Okay, do you desire to continue to have this impact? Because it's trending downwards, like it's a negative direction. And then this is assuming you're rational. If your body, one of my teachers, she says, sometimes triggers are so painful that we go from a 1 to a 7, and now we're in fight or flight, and there's nothing that can be done except for conscious pause, walk away, and re-regulate so we can be rational again. So if that's the situation, the only solution is to actually re-regulate or to just stop mid-sentence even and say, oh, I'm not coming from love. I choose to come from love, and I'm not able to right now. I can witness my ego wanting to lash out or to have some kind of an impact on you. And here's the other thing for me, there's a relationship triad. Are you still getting stuff from this, Jesse? Because I'm going off on some tangents here. Give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
So, and I'm going to invite everybody to put in the chat which one you favor of these. There are three strategies that we default to uh, based on past trauma, experience with other people, to get significance and attention when we think we're not experiencing what we need in terms of significance and attention. So, like, pay attention to me. I'm important. I feel meaningful. I matter. Interestingly enough, when we're looking to the outside for those things, most of the time we're operating from codependence. Not diagnostic and statistical manual of psychiatric disorders codependence as defined by the medical industrial complex, but codependence like believing the lie that you're the slave of the external world. And you're not. To make someone else responsible for your happiness or your current state of mind is to pedestalize them and to make them your god. Like, no, I'd rather not do that. Now, it's okay to have things so long as things don't have you. It's okay to actually have attention and significance from others. It's just within these three strategies, most people are confusing love for attention and significance. Let me explain how. So the hero thinks they're worthless and unworthy of love on some level. So they are giving and saving and rescuing and doing, over functioning, you may have heard it called, so that in order to get that feeling of significance, and in the process, they are feeding someone who's playing the part of the victim, who's either entertaining, allowing, even creating problems in their life that they could otherwise solve if they stood on their full power on their own 2 feet, because they're playing the game of they don't feel worthy of love, and so they're trying to get it. They're doing like being helpless or whatever, so that they can draw in an empath or a hero. And this also escalates. So there's the hero, there's the victim, and then there's the villain. The villain either was formerly a victim or formerly a hero, and now they're no longer seeking regular significance or excuse me, attention. They are, imagine being a bank teller and somebody walks up to you with a gun, right? That bank robber is the most significant thing in your life in that moment. Because they're demanding it, they're extracting it, they're pushing you around for it. And in my day, let's see, looking back, I had maybe 30% victim, maybe 50% hero, and then about 20% villain. Now, y'all have heard the 80-20 rule, right? Where 20%, 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort. That 20% of my effort as villain, oh, it burned bridges left and right. And what was underneath the part personality of the villain, which had come to know and perceive like very incisively, very creatively, very articulately, what is the best right thing for me to say and do to have them feel the pain that they are causing me. Probably most people who hurt people are actually just so hurt, but do not know how to convey it, handle it, hold it, manage it. Am I right? Does this make sense so far? Cool. So there's two levels, or at least three levels on which we address this, right? The boundary actually expressed from love, from a grounded, regulated state, first as an inquiry, like, do you see what you're doing? Are you willing to stop doing this as a request? Hey, an ultimatum, like if you don't stop, I'm going to have to put consequences in place because a boundary without a consequence is not a boundary. So the fact that you pushed somebody away, you don't need to cause them pain in order to inflict a boundary. You invite them into consensual agreement with buy-in from a state of rationality and ease. I may have gone beyond answering the question. What are you hearing, Jesse? What's useful for you so far?
Mm. So, so I'm hearing about the villain victim savior complex, kind of that you're talking about.
Mhm.
Um, I'm hearing that you don't need to assert a boundary with being like you don't need to be hostile to assert a boundary. Right. So there could be another, like I could have just blocked them from any communication, and that could have been just that, right? No, no drama, no blow up, no nothing, just. Psh. Um, so what I think what's coming to realization is that like I didn't trust myself with this person,
Yep.
and so I instead of just like, oh, this person isn't healthy for me, I need to just move on and let them not be in my life anymore.
Which again, are you willing to love that might be exactly what you needed in that moment?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So for me, I look back like we're doing work in real time because in my past, I would set boundaries. I led a retreat a couple weeks ago and I set a boundary with my clients, but it was from the wrong energy and at the wrong time after I'd been injured and was exhausted and all this other stuff. And it didn't taste or feel good on their side. Now we redeemed it, we recovered from it, we had a great retreat for the rest of the retreat. But being able to acknowledge and honor, like, okay, humans are clunky at setting, holding, managing, communicating boundaries. And it could be as simple. So, everybody put this in the chat. How you choose to be doesn't work for me. And that, by the way, so everybody put that in the chat. I'll give you a second. This is an interactive class. Yeah, that's communication is communication is not what I asked, but yeah. Feel free to cut and paste if you want, Raj. How you choose to be doesn't work for me.
Also, does Raj have a question? See his hand up.
Yeah, he's had his hand up since the beginning. Do you have a question, Raj?
No, I didn't have. I think you asked to raise hand in the beginning, so okay, I need to take it off.
Oh, I
Okay.
got you. No worries. I got it taken care of. So, and in that statement, how you choose to be doesn't work for me. It's implying a choice on their part. It is literally an invitation to greater awareness. It is an inquiry you're drawing them into. Like, oh, how have I been choosing to be that doesn't work? And why I love that statement is it's also like you can't make that determination unless you've observed several data points. Like somebody might just be blundering and clumsy, and so they trip and they hit you, or something, whatever, right? Or they might have something they're reacting to internally. Once you see it happen the first time, I recommend setting the boundary the first time you see something that doesn't work for you. Because, like, we invite what we tolerate. So, to the degree that you're willing to say, oh, you know what, that didn't work for me, but I like the sex that I'm getting. I like the attention I'm getting. I like the significance they're giving me. I'm just going to ignore it. Like, that's the degree to which you are training them, because we train other people in how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. You're training them that it's okay for them to do that, especially if there's a second time, right? So intercept, intervene, interrupt at the first sign of it not working for you for whatever reason. And by the way, your boundaries don't have to make sense. you, uh, One of my mentors, he used to say explanations. Your friends don't need them and your enemies don't believe them. Which are you? That was how he used to say it. It was really cute. And like, I don't need to explain myself. If somebody is curious and they ask, I can tell them the origins and where my behavior is coming from and why. I mean, I'm like, I've got this thing going on. Like, when I was in my last relationship early on, we were in communication, and then she disappeared for a couple days from text because she was on a festival, or at a festival. And I had a whole reaction. I had a whole like, oh, well, she's gone, you know, because we started as friends with benefits and then we're in relationship. And I was like, all right, well, she's probably, she's found somebody else or something. I don't know. It was just what my mind made up. It's a stupid story. And I did a process to release my resistance to being abandoned, to not having her in my life. And then I came to a clear space where I was like, all right, I can tell her what the impact of her being out of communication with me is and invite her into being in more communication. So we hang out again after the festival. I tell her exactly that. She's like, whoa, I didn't know that. I really want to have a positive impact on you. I don't want to leave you feeling that way. So yeah, I'm happy to communicate more. I was like, all right, this is great. So you have every right to any preference at any time. Does this make sense? Cool. Have I beaten your question like a dead horse, Jesse, or do you have enough to chew on for now?
No, this is good. It was helpful. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Beautiful. Let's acknowledge Jessie for her question. See, I could do this all day, every day for the rest of my life. I love this stuff. This is a blast for me, dating, relating, intimacy. So, all right. Oleg wrote in with a question, as if we're a radio show. Um, I'd like to know how to awaken the potential for love early in the relationship when we just met. This is good. So, could you say a little bit more about what you mean and what you're intending by that? Because it's pretty easy for me to, yeah, go ahead.
Just on a relationship, and that's just a fling or something.
Okay. So, like, how to deepen the intimacy in the
Yeah.
connection? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So,
So
anywhere, go ahead. Yeah.
I recently had like on some dating apps. I recently had somebody say that she uh, doesn't like when people touch her, really, when they just met. And I was thinking, how? Well, I had the assumption that maybe that actually helps the intimacy, but apparently some people don't like it. Uh, how do I do that without touch? For
So
example.
you're committed to deepening and generating intimacy through touch, but in a way that feels good to her? Is that, or like in a timing that feels good to her, or just,
Yeah, and she said that if the timing it makes sense, then okay, but she does like just being touched if it's just kind of relentless.
yeah, so everybody has their preference and their timing and their pacing. One thing you could do is ask, what is the pace that you love and enjoy around this? Very simple. and then you map to, and this is not people pleasing, this is calibration, right? So people pleasing would be to say, all right, well, I'm just never going to touch you. Because that might actually even be a reaction, like from pain, like, oh, you don't want my touch, you just rejected me, ouch. Like, no. You also have every right at any time to be curious and to go deeper into their world. See, the stronger and the wider the background of relatedness between you two, the more intimacy will flow and flourish, even if that doesn't look like what you desire in the moment or what your preference would be. Like, you could gently invite her to express, like, okay, why? I mean, you could ask why. She might not want to share why, or what uh, is is your delight and desire around this? Because everybody's got a desire for touch and connection and love and intimacy. We all have different love maps based on um, our opposite sex parent, who we related to, our past partners. Um, Let me know though, Oleg, is this giving you your answer? Is that enough, or do you want more?
Somewhat, like at least in relation to touch.
Okay. Is there another question around that?
Well, in general, how to uh, open up the potential for there to be a loving relationship.
Ah, yes. So, the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. You've probably heard this said. It was Joseph Campbell, if I remember correctly. And what I'm using it for is anywhere you're afraid to go and be vulnerable, any aspect of your experience, like, oh, I have this health challenge, or oh, I have this reaction pattern, can be leveraged as fuel for the alchemy of authentic intimacy. If you share it with full approval, if you're not judging it. And what that does, because leaders go first, is it creates a space where she is incentivized and not in fear of punishment for sharing whatever she might have been afraid to share. And it's not a game, it's not a trick, it's not a trap, it's not a manipulation, it's an invitation. It's a space you're creating through being vulnerable. And back in the day when they would do it at Landmark, I would always have astonishment because there's that one person on the first day who goes to the microphone and chooses to break open their heart and walk out on the skinny branches in front of people they don't know before there's a safe space established by either the leader or the community. So you get to embody the safe space that you choose for her to enter into for you, with you. And she may choose to share and participate and co-create and reciprocate. She may not. The other side to it is to let go of any attachment to her responding in a particular way. Who's noticed that the feminine is chaotic in a delicious, delightful, and intriguing way often? I see Jesse smiling and laughing. Yeah. That's part of the point. We men, we are rational, linear, structural, strategic, intentional, intellectual. And part of what makes the feminine so intriguing, so enticing, so attractive is it is a different polarity. It is not what we are familiar with. It is, and we have internal masculine and feminine. So we can, lean from one to the other internally. But being able to have the feminine reflected back to us through a person, what an adventure. So, Oleg, you good? I got you now. You got enough to chew on and work with? Great. Beautiful. Let's acknowledge Oleg for his question. That was good, man. Little wiggly fingers. Siraj is like, low maintenance wave. All right. And Raj, feel free to drop in the chat if you have questions. Siraj has probably got enough questions for all of us. Um, I'm going to use all of them,
Um,
man. Go ahead,
okay.
Raj. Yeah.
I actually honestly I don't have any. I didn't prepare for that.
No worries, man. Maybe if you
Yeah,
come up with one, feel free to let us know. And
sure.
then when we
I
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. I have a question on the previous topic that we were on, where we were talking about hero, villain, and victim. Um, what if you want attention and significance from your partner, but they aren't able to give it to you for some genuine reason, like they're busy at work, or when they come back home, they're just not in the mood for it. And if you put a firm boundary and then you act on the consequence, it leads you to separating from the partner. Like you can see you're going to break up at some point and you don't want to do that. Is there any way to, still constructively save it? And if you enforcing borders and showing the consequences of it only deteriorates the relationship. But your partner doesn't hate you, he loves you, he's just not able to like do it for some other reason, which might need him to talk to someone else or her to talk to someone else and like a personality change. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I hear you.
Mhm.
So your desire, or you're imagining, you're
Mhm. I'm
surmising,
imagining.
speculating. Yeah,
Mhm.
is you're in a relationship with somebody,
Mhm.
and is it they want more touch or attention or something than you're able to give in the moment?
Let's say this, I want more attention and,
Okay.
yeah, love. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple things. I'm gonna be a little because we're like in a rigorous container together. May I be a little more rigorous with you?
Yes.
Cool. So, y'all, when I say this, it is meant to be triggering because it will also have you see where your limitations are because love confronts dysfunction. So, codependence is buying the lie that you're the bitch of the external world. I say that so that some part of you will wake up and be like, I'm nobody's bitch. Like I'm not under somebody else's control. So we start with the realization that your happiness does not depend on them giving you attention and significance at that time in the way that you prefer. And if we start there, then you're free to be in relation to however they be. Because probably you're more committed to having and enjoying the connection than ultimatumizing it into this moment at this time needs to produce this experience for me, right? They're not an ATM. You getting that? And we're trained by social media for instant gratification. We're trained to treat our partner as a source for gratification. Again, it's okay to have things from your partner so long as those things don't have you. What does that mean? If you can't be okay without it. Now, that's just in one instance, right? Let's say that this is an escalating pattern over time. They reliably and consistently behave in a way that does not give you what you ideally maybe got into the relationship because you were desiring to experience and enjoy. Well, it's not so much a boundary as a preference, right? A boundary is like this keeps me safe, this keeps me well, this keeps me structured and strong enough to be in the partnership. Like in a relationship, one of my mentors, Annie Lala, she talks about imagine two people getting into a bath, right? When one gets into the bath, they have all this space and whatnot, and they're very comfortable. I take a lot of baths these days, so that's why it's fresh in my mind. And the other person, when they get into the bath, the first person has to move around, generally speaking, unless it's a huge jacuzzi or whatever, um, so that they can make space for the other person. So, being in relationship, it is this dance of making space for the other person being however they are. And who would love to be granted space and being to be however you are, whenever you are, however you are in relationship? So long as, of course, it's not an excuse for you to be dysfunctional or villainous or an asshole. Yeah, great. Everybody's down for that. That's beautiful. And Raj figured out how to put his hand down too. Good work. Good team. Um, so one of the adventures you can go on in relationship when you're not getting your quote unquote needs met, right?
So I
And
have something to add.
um,
I read long back. Uh, is like a quote about it.
go ahead. Yeah.
Um, it's like holding a sand in hand. If you hold tight, it will go off, and if you hold right amount, it will stay back.
Very, very much like a koan.
Yeah.
Very, very much what we would expect from an enlightened master of meditation.
Yeah.
This is my joke. I'm not sure that you're an enlightened master. I don't think you'd call yourself that. You've probably meditated more than everyone in this room. Thank you. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate your desire to contribute. So, a need, in my mind, is often used in our day and age to describe a desire with a very strong, grippy attachment. In relationship, in physical reality, yes, you need food and water and sleep. Do you need sex? I don't know. I fall down on the side that we've been programmed to want sex and sex in certain varieties that is actually not as healthy for us, right? Everybody should be having lots of sex all the time. Even if you're having sex with somebody who is misaligned or it's a casuals or whatever. And I'm not judging anybody for whatever choice they make. I'm inquiring into what are my needs actually. In fact, one of my mentors talks about how most people confuse what are actually spiritual and emotional needs for romantic and sexual needs. In effect, they're confusing an external solution they're bringing an external solution for an internal problem, which is a category mistake. You can't like fix the one with the other. And yet we do. We try to, or we try to avoid our own emotional issues and challenges. And then we wonder why, when the limerence runs out, the relationship dematerializes. Well, yeah, the neurochemicals that your evolutionary psychological infused brain have programmed you to release so you stay together long enough, like 18 months or 2 years, somewhere in that range, to raise the child. Like, right? There's a lot of sex, fucking like bunnies in the beginning, and then there's a baby that pops out, and all right, now that baby can walk. Now it's time to in the evolutionary theater at least. Like, okay, well, who would like a relationship that where love never leaves, that lasts for the rest of your life, if possible? Yeah, I ask people. I'm like, okay, do you want a relationship with where you get sex with love, or relationship where it's just sex, and if you could only choose one, if it's just sex and no love? Well, most people say love and sex. All right, one where the love never leaves, or one where the love ends and runs out in a painful breakup. They're like, well, where love never leaves. So we're all kind of playing the same game. We have an ideal that we're aiming at. So let's bait the hook to catch the fish, and play the game to win within that lane, right? So relationships are not hard work. The real work is in you. Is it has been in me. I've been in this game for 15 years, uh, plus actually by now. But so coming back to you, Suraj, with your original question, um, it's very similar to the structure of what I was telling Jesse, and I forget when you jumped in, so I may be repeating myself, y'all, but it's worth it. Um, Inquire into and invite them into the experience of the impact that they're having. Because for all that they know, they may be focused on their own stuff. They may just not even be aware that you have a desire, because they're like narrow focused, they're working hard or whatever. So, hey, do you realize you're having this impact? Would you like to have a different impact? Because it doesn't feel good to me. I would love to feel better. I'd love to have more of this with you. I would love to experience and enjoy intimacy on this channel with you. So you make the request. And then they either follow through if they said yes, or you now know their character if they said no. They're just a flat no, I won't even try. I'm not interested in that. I'm not available for that. Like, okay, you know what their current capacity is. And making demands beyond someone's capacity is a great recipe for disaster and pain. Just like uh, unexpressed needs or desires are premeditated resentments. Both of those, you're feeding a powder keg. Um, I wouldn't say for touch, we have the right to make a demand. I would say eventually, if there's a consistent pattern, like let's say because they established a pattern, right? You wouldn't be asking the question if there weren't a diminishing in touch or attention. My love language is touch. So when I think of attention, I think of touch, right? So they established a pattern earlier on in the relationship. It's fading a little bit. You make your request. Maybe they even say, yes, I would like to. So they're tacking into the wind. They're trending upwards. They're trying, but they fail. Okay, well, if they're trying and they fail, then just invite them again. And invite them into the opportunity to be a hero. Not a hero like the hero victim villain, but like it would be awesome to have this experience of you trying and succeeding at this, be it taking out the trash, doing the dishes, or touching me a little more often, or watching or paying attention to me a little more often. It's okay to ask for anything at any time. It's also okay for them to say no. And here's where it gets subtle. Like if they don't actually have the capacity because their self-care and their life requires them to pay a certain amount of attention, and then they're just beat when they get to you, like love, feel free to put this in the chat. Love is the choice to grant space and being unconditionally. And I know that was long, so choice to grant space and being. You left out the unconditional. That's an important point. But thank you for playing. he's gonna jump in with the adverb. That's great. It doesn't even need to be spelled right. You did it. Great work. So give what you want to get. Be the change you want to see. You've heard this, right? By the way, that love thing was for everybody. So feel free to put it in the. Okay, great. Oleg's playing now too. And, okay. Okay. And then he might come in with the unconditional as well. It's a choice you can make for any reason or no reason at all at any time. And boy, does it feel good when people have chosen to love me despite me being a villain to them, right? They were graceful with me when they didn't have to choose to be. So this is again, assuming you're prioritizing keeping the connection, Suraj, like you're really wanting to give them every opportunity. Then you grant space and being for their current capacity. They may have had a serious injury and they're just not available for intimacy in certain ways. Okay, well, who would you like to have someone be with you if that happened to you? Granting space and being to you for you to take whatever time it takes to recover or whatever. And then if their capacity gets to a point, I see that in the chat and I'll catch up. Don't worry. If they then return to possession of the capacity and you can observe it and you witness it and you make requests and eventually you turn it into, hey, I desire this and this is important to me, and being without it really is sad. It's dysfunctional. It doesn't work for me. Like I'm going to need to walk away. I'm going to need to draw a boundary. So you could give them that last sort of request, assuming they're not willing to play and they haven't even been trying, right? At that point, then you invite what you tolerate. And a relationship, for most people, is what they're settling for, that they've been willing to tolerate so they can get just a little bit of goodness. Until finally they're just like, well, I'm fed up and I resent myself for putting up with this or not getting all of what I desire for a lower level of aliveness or enlivening or enthusiasm than what I believe is my divine right, right? Oleg's been writing, I accept prosperity as my divine right, from Feel Free to Prosper, right? I accept love as my divine right. I accept touch, connection, sex as my divine right. Now, that doesn't mean I have the right to walk up in front of somebody who I've just approached on the street in San Francisco and said, I accept your love as my divine right. No. Love doesn't come from people. It comes through people when you tune to it. Actually, the experience of attention and significance doesn't come from people. It comes through people when you tune to it. So your partner does not need to be your God and the primary or only source for your attention. Yeah, is that ideal if you're living with somebody and your nervous system is craving that kind of secure base and safe haven and there's attachment circuitry looking to hook into somebody who you can lean on and rely on, for sure. But again, we're not the bitch of our body either. You can be codependent with what you think your nervous system needs. Go on, go ahead, Suraj. I love it.
Um, it's interesting because in like daily lived experience, you think of love as coming from someone else, but it's a physically generated feeling within our own bodies, but it is being channeled through someone else. So I just wanted to like dwell on that for a little second because it was a little bit of a revelation, as you were saying. Yeah.
Go team. Love it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for deepening into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that we think love is the experience of having attention and significance from another at a certain time, for a certain duration, with certain benefits, in certain ways. And I'm not saying not to want that. I'm saying that the degree to which we trip up on or get hooked into, I have to have this from this person in this way at this time, it leaves us unfree. It leaves us unhappy. And who'd rather be happy than unhappy wherever possible? Yeah. So let's stop doing what doesn't work and start doing what does work even better. There's so much I could say about love. Love is a creation, and you were pointing to that, Suraj. Like, love is a experience that we could feasibly generate. I have been doing this heart meditation from one of my coaches, and I experience bliss reliably through it. And I'm like, well, I see why I haven't been allowing myself to chase. I've had 16 opportunities, probably more, since my last partnership to either have sex or be in a relationship. And I noticed the red flags because I've got stronger, sterner boundaries and standards. And sometimes my little ego would come back after I would put those boundaries in place or say no. And sometimes they were the exact boundaries that you're talking about, Jesse, where I would see a red flag and I'd be like, well, you can't do this. This is bad. I got to judge you for it. Like, no, no, I don't need that over pendulation anymore. But as I look back, I think, wow, I'm actually happy most of the time on my own with occasional bouts of perhaps like spiritual warfare and confusion. Like that's a whole conversation. But like I'm so happy that I don't need to settle for or crave after something that's unhealthy for me. And I trust and know that when I next go into a relationship, if I'm a full body, full heart, full mind, fuck yes, that it will be what is most meant for me, and that it will include all of what I actually most desire. But what I most desire won't show up in every moment necessarily. Again, humans are not ATMs, and they don't respond well to being treated like them. Well, unless they're sex workers, right? And again, I'm not saying don't dignify and honor a sex worker with respect and love. I'm saying that they're just being straight about how most people engage. Most people are horse trading. Let me give you attention and significance, and you give me attention and significance. Let me make you feel better so that you'll make me feel better. Like that's transactional. So let me catch up with what's in the chat. There were a couple things here. Getting Tony Robbins flashbacks with that bank robber example. Okay, great. I'm glad it's reminding you of some cool stuff, sounds like. Mine is touch and quality time. Yeah. By the way, anybody ever considered if your love language in relationship, you can give that to yourself. Touch, quality time, words of affirmation. And like the other thing is like humans are not dogs, so demanding that they match your like dog training, like you need to give me my quality to my love language or else you're a bad person or else I got to get out of a relationship. Like okay, I mean like maybe, but really? Let's go on. That's my favorite coaching I've given today. Maybe, but really? Question mark. But did you get it? Did it make enough sense? Like like still, it's okay to have things so long as things don't have you. Bit of an extreme example, but I've had a relative wave a kitchen knife at me at one point and I still love them. Yeah, yeah. My mom beat me with a belt. I still love her, right? Because she was doing her best at the time to be of service to me, probably after reading a Bible which said, "Spare the rod, spoil the child." Right? Like you need to beat your kids so that they do the right thing so they don't get hurt. Like, okay, thanks. That hurt. Please don't do that anymore. Or if you try to do that, I will put you at arm's length or stop talking to you or whatever. So let's all take a breath. Who'd love a way to embody boundaries? A better way of, okay. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting adventure. So in Qigong, of which I am a integrative certified facilitator, there is a phenomenon called uh, the Wei Qi, which is energy that actually surrounds, it's like just around your skin. And you can cultivate that energy. And then you embody a boundary more strongly. People are just not either willing, able, or available to mess with you or to try to penetrate into your field or push you around. So the more you embody a boundary, the less you need to express it because the more you exude it. Does that make sense? And so there are a couple things. There's a sequence. I'm going to see how much I can show you. I've mastered the fine art of what's called chair gong, which is qigong in a chair, since I started to heal my leg from this contusion on my retreat. So one thing you can do, and everybody, I invite you all to stand up actually, just so I can check on your postures and if you love ways of embodying boundaries. Um, One is, so literally you're putting your wings out, you're imagining, so you're standing straight up, feet facing the same direction. Yeah, this is good. It's working. So, and you're breathing up and then out and down. So this is actually a support for letting go codependently. You ever get that rumination, right? Jesse was talking about like, what do I do? How do I put this boundary in place? Like, okay, maybe I'm just caring too much about them. Like, so imagine everything, all the energy that is not yours, or all the energy that's having you get sucked in or tethered to other people, breathing it up your spine, and then down and out as if your arms were like pine tree branches, right? So it's floating down. So we're gonna do it together. Breathe up and in, and down and out, and again. So I'm deep in practice. When I practice, I often yawn, which is a sign of release or relaxation, going into parasympathetic. That you don't always have to get a yawn for it to be working, but that is a sign that it is. If you experience that. And I was literally taking some energy from a situation that happened before this call, and like just letting it go. Like, oh, I care too much about that person's response to me. I made you yawn. Great work. Go team. How does one embody a boundary? Okay. Next, I'm going to take your hands. So you're going to spread your legs out a little bit. You're not in a full squat, but you're closer to one. You're reaching down, pulling as if you're pulling threads from a tapestry. You're pulling from the ground and you're breathing up. And then so there's about 2 fingers below your wrist. You're coming into a posture up here near your chest. Yeah. And what I find, so this is actually exuding and embodying a boundary. And then you, on the way up, you can actually also pull as if threads. You can literally pull the energy tendrils that have connected you to other people out from your chakras. I get this from an like medical qigong practitioner because I watched him do it when I was facilitating him one day. And then so those threads come out into your hands, and then you can just wait there, Breathe in and then out. And then eventually, I find while I'm doing this posture, I yawn it out. And then, so you do it again. So you're pulling out from the earth and then out from the other chakras. I'm going to do it a little bit quicker this time. And then you're coming to where the next arm for the other side is up front, right? And then just imagine all that energy coming into your fingertips. Right? You guys, y'all feeling this? It's making sense to you? Yeah, great. Yeah, that's part of why I love Qigong. One last one. Um, this centers you and grounds you in arguably who you are through the dantians. So the dantians are elixir fields, little pots, as it were, where we're brewing different types of energy internally. Down here, just below the belly button, is the lower dantian, which is about Jing, so the energy of vitality. Then there's the heart, which is the energy of Shen or love. And then there's Qi. And some people put into certain systems Qi and Shen in different spots, but it's like it's like water, steam, and ice, right? And it depends on which system again. But um, my favorite, and Suraj, thanks for your patience. I know you know this one because you've seen and done this probably many times. My favorite is pulling down the heavens. There's a lot of energy that goes up into our heads. And in Qigong, the idea is that we are actually located here. And there's neuroscience to suggest there's a brain, obviously, a heart brain, like neurons in the heart and then neurons in the gut. So everybody out and then up. And then turn and then out. Then we're going to do lower embrace the tree. So just holding your hands out here. So you're going to, the ideal and the idea is that you're going to feel clearer. You're going to feel more centered, more grounded. You're closer to the ground. Boundaries are easier to maintain when you're more resourced. Am I right? So we just resourced you. We literally resourced you and we resourced you. We put you back in touch with the source of you as an energetic system. Is this cool? Qigong in boundaries? All right, go team. Feel free to have a seat. Thanks for engaging with me in that adventure. I noticed we had been a lot of mental so far. We're going to get some more mental too, but I was like, let me get them back into their bodies and take a little break, a little intermission. Um, who would love to learn more about boundaries? Okay, cool. I'm bookmarking that. I have a full 2 hour workshop that then turned into a 3 or 4 hour thing when I taught it on my retreat. So we're not going to get through all of that, but we may swing back to it. Does that begin to answer your question? How does one embody a boundary, Oleg? Yes, great, cool. All right. Does that answer your question about what to do in relationship, Suraj, with the escalation of need not being met kind of thing?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go into your other questions that you sent in. Um, actually, you know what? Let's take a quick, like 5 minute bathroom break. Everybody down for that? Cool. I'm going to put a 5 minute timer. Please be back.